Hi, my name's Greg. This is my first ever YouTube video, and it will be about my struggle with myelomalacia, myelopathy, stenosis, degenerative disc disease, how it all started in 2011, and what the future holds. There's the reason why I'm doing this. There are two reasons. It's harder to write as this has progressed. I was once right-handed. I switched to my left hand when I couldn't use my right hand to write anymore, and it's starting to affect my left hand so much that I struggle to write with it. So it's obviously harder to type a lot of information. So I thought I would document things here on YouTube with it. So forgive me if it's not real fancy. You'll notice by the background, I don't have a fancy background. I'll try to put background in. I'm learning how to edit things and maybe put a few graphics in, things like that as we move along. There's not a lot of, the second reason, there's not a lot of documentation on YouTube of people who've struggled with it in the past, journals or diary type things. So, another reason I'm going to put it on there. Facebook has some really good pages where people, briefly give information on what's happened to them, their symptoms, things like that. This may be end up being easier than writing a journal and typing it all out in a blog. So anyway, welcome to me doing that. As we all know, myelomalacia is caused from a scarring, bruising, bleeding of the spinal cord, usually caused by a traumatic injury. Mine was caused from genetics. I can't think of any type of injury that caused it or something I did. The degenerative disc disease hit me in my mid-30s, and it was aggressive. At some point, one of the discs degenerated and broke into my spinal canal and was into it at 60%, the surgeon said, and that caused the scarring on the spinal cord, and everything is just kind of went downhill and progressed from there. That was in 2012, and then diagnosed that. I've had 6 total spinal surgeries since. My last one in 2022, about January of 2022. Right now it's kind of a holding pattern. Nothing, I can't say nothing needs surgery right now. They're just choosing not to do the surgery right now. And, we'll see what happens. So that's what I want to accomplish in the video, is to share, my symptoms, the struggles since I was diagnosed, how it's progressed. Some will progress rapidly, some people slowly. I guess I'm lucky that it's progressing slowly with me. I've ignored it for a long time, and at 57, I need to be paying more attention because it's affecting me more than it ever has. I use a cane more. I use a walking stick more. I've recently purchased a mobility scooter. I don't use them unless I necessarily have to, if I'm walking long distances. I've got a handicap sticker. I don't like using it unless I have to. But a lot of ways I've adapted, and I just need to stop ignoring things so much and pay more attention, because this is going to affect, I've had a lot of atrophy, muscle loss, loss of nerves, the nerve damage. It's going to affect more things as we move on. A lot of things I've ignored with my health. I ignored the genetics of both parents. everything they had, I have now. Whether it's the heart disease, I had diabetes. I have diabetes, but it's under control. This stuff with my spine, they had hints of it. Other family members have as well. So it's time to pay more attention than I have in the past. I tried to stay active as much as I can, but again, I have to adapt and modify things with exercise. I go to the gym as much as I can. It really helps. I try to walk as much as I can, but it's getting more difficult. As far as exercise at the gym, one adaptation I can share is I use hooks on my hands to lift some of the weights. That helps tremendously. But learning how to modify things, I do more than I realized I did. My wife points out, and you'll probably notice I squirm a lot. I'll bounce a lot. Just movement, as many of you know, helps quite a bit. But the squirming and stuff, it's kind of like I heard from teaching, and fifth graders especially, they squirm the most in their seats because their tailbone is growing rapidly at that age. So you'll see them squirm a lot. When it has to do with the spine, the more movement you have, oftentimes the better it feels. Obviously when you're having a spasm, it's not that fun. A lot of the symptoms I struggle with, balance is a big thing. I can't feel anything below my knees. I have to really watch my feet for injuries. Balance is just horrible. I look like I'm drunk if I don't have a cane or a walking stick. I really have to hold on to things. I lean on things more than I realize, but it's always pointed out. Obviously, writing with my hands, it's just getting worse and worse. I just had something notarized yesterday, and the lady took my license and looked at my signature and commented, "Your signature looks different." And I had to explain to her, I said, "It's the nerve damage. Since I had my picture taken, my license made, it's gotten worse." So that, I want to share things with people. Feel free to share, what you want to in the comments as I move along. I'll try to keep videos as short as possible, but as interesting as I can as well. Hopefully we get a lot of advice and learn and get a lot of tips from people sharing. Maybe we'll get some more people documenting their life with it. So subscribe and join, they always say at the end of these. I don't know if I have that option. I might make it at the bottom on this, but we'll see how it goes. So thank you for tuning in, and I will be posting another one very shortly. Thank you.